Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Plat. Purplatypus is the name, and today we're going to choose which waifu for Laifu for Yufu. And let's get right into it. So, as you know, in this event, you are going to get a free banner S unit. You get to go to limited after you complete the story. You're going to listen to another story without fights, and then you can come here. You can give someone a wedding ring. That way you can get an unnatural attachment to a digital pixel image. But you know what? That's what we're here for, baby. All right, so you can pick Nora, Bianca, Deborah. I'm going to quickly go over all their abilities. These are going to be, I'm probably going to do each of them in a more in-depth unit review. This is basically, so what's the difference between this and a unit review? The idea of this video is going to be, which one should you get with your free S unit? So which one do I think is the strongest, or which one do I think is the one that's going to be best for the most amount of content? However, obviously pick whatever one you want the most, right? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If you actually are a big fan of Dragon Quest V and you're a big fan of one of these characters, that should probably take priority, because you want to enjoy, you don't want to look at like a character you don't like and be like, oh, I hate that I have to use this character. And in a unit review specifically, I'm going to go more in depth to their actual abilities, you know, kind of what you want to use them for and what you can expect to get out of them. Because even though everyone gets a free S unit, there's going to be a lot of people pulling random ones, right? Like someone just, we're getting free tickets. We have Tact points. People might pull a waifu that they didn't want. So I just, you know, I want to make sure to give people an actual in-depth guide to each character as well. So let's quickly go look at the scout banners. We are going to go with Bianca, Nora, and then Deborah. All right. You know what? We're going to start. I'm actually going to do it in an order that I think is low priority to high priority. All right. So it's going to be kind of a spoiler, but I do think it is just probably a better way to lay it out. So the one that I think you should probably least likely get, actually, let's go ahead and go here, is Deborah. Now, I know a lot of people like Deborah, but there's like so much love and hate in this game for these different characters. So, Deborah, and I want to preface this by saying first, I think all these characters are very good. I think they're all very good. I think some are just a bit better than others. So, all right, we've got Deborah here. So we can see Deborah has about 1,000 HP, well, 950 HP, almost 500 attack. Very, very good. And she's got this special beauty queen thing where it increases her crit rate by 5% and physical potency of Sizz type attacks by 10%. So this thing hits like a truck and raises physical potency by 10%. All right, this unit's fantastic. All right, abilities here: 160 potency Sizz type physical damage to all enemies in area of effect. This is one of the reasons why I think she's lower priority. I don't think this skill's very good. 160% potency, even if you max this out, that's just like the potency just isn't there, I don't think, for this ability. Now, Hard Claw, deal 96% potency physical damage to one enemy 3 times. Okay, that's pretty good, but another waifu has an ability that's literally this, but range 1 to 2, and has a element to it, which makes it better in some situations. So this isn't benefiting from her own passive, right, of the Sizz damage increase. But then she's got Fire Whirl, 280% potency Sizz type physical damage to all enemies in area of effect. So this is kind of similar to like Sorrow's thing, but with Sizz. It's like, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. 280% potency is pretty high, but it's like, no, there's no way around it. It's good. All right, it is good. Like I said, all the characters are good. It just, I think some of the other characters are better, which is crazy. And her coup de grace is heals, so you need to wait 2 turns. So I think this means it's active on the 3rd turn. Heals major amount of HP for the user. Greatly increases move and attack. I don't know what greatly increasing move means. Is that 2 movement? Maybe. That could be, that's pretty fantastic. Greatly raises move and attack and reduces damage by 40% for 1 turn. Turns needed 2. So I actually think this is the best skill that she has personally. I think that this is very, very good, because like, it means you could be really aggressive with her and kind of, she doesn't need a healer, right? Like, you don't need to have necessarily a healing comp for your damage dealer. If she could survive turn 1 and 2, you could even take a risky move and then get into a situation where she's being covered by someone. But like, then on turn 3, you heal all of your HP. You get, sorry, hiccup there. You get a huge increase in your attack, and you get a huge increase in move. I don't know if the move is important at all. It probably isn't. but it is cool. Maybe it lets you reposition, you know, in a slightly better way. But then also you get to go into a very risky spot with your increased movement, with your increased attack at full HP, and you get a 40% damage reduction for 1 turn. Now, I don't know if this, I doubt this means it reduces her own damage by 40%. I'm pretty sure this means she reduces damage taken by 40%. If she reduces her own damage by 40% for 1 turn, that's shit. This ability suddenly gets way worse. But I'm pretty sure it means she's way tankier for 1 turn. Very good ability. I love this ability, and if you get Deborah, don't feel bad. Obviously, it's not going to be very good in Arena. Coup de grace just aren't very good in Arena because you're trying to win in 2 turns. These are usable on turn 3. And this is, so, Deborah, good character, but probably not the waifu for you. Mostly because I just, like, is Sizz physical that important? I don't think Sizz physical is that important. Although she might be a bit of a monster in EX fights with the ability to heal, but still, I just, when it comes to Sizz, like, you already got a lot of Sizz magic users. You've got the Sizz breath guy that's free right now. I don't know if you really need a lot of Sizz physical attackers. She's definitely the best Sizz physical attacker in the game, so she might be good. If you're just getting multiple units, you know, you get her in the paid ban or whatever, like, definitely good to cover your bases here. I think she could be very good. But now, here's where it gets a little bit tough. Bianca and Nora. I personally think I am going to go with Bianca, but I do think Bianca is probably less likely to be... I think this is the one you should probably not focus on, honestly. But I kind of want to see her in action because she's got this really cool passive that I don't know how strong it is yet. So 465 attack, very good. It's a little bit slightly less than Deborah, but not quite. Less HP and less attack than Deborah, which is both pretty bad here. But she makes up for it in some other ways. She's also a zap attacker, which currently we only have Royal Reptile, so she's likely just going to kick Royal Reptile's ass. So she has this really cool ability here that I'm at increased zap type physical potency 20%, by the way. Is that double what Deborah's is? Is Deborah's only 10%? This is all physical potency 10%, but this is specifically zap type physical potency 20%. So this is twice as good for herself, which is pretty nice, actually. Whip crack counter, though. When attacked by an enemy, attacks with whip crack counter if within range to counter. Now, this is not one of her abilities, so I do not know what the range is on whip crack counter. Is this an exactly adjacent square? Probably. But it doesn't say chance, does it? It says when attacked, attacks with this if within range to counter. So this is a guarantee counter unless it's worded wrong, unless there's translation errors, which there are some in the game, but there's very few. This reads to me that there is a 100% chance for her to counter every time she's attacked in adjacent range. Now, this is going to be so good in EX fights and stuff where, I mean, you won't work if you have a cover tank, right? Because the cover will take the tank for you. But there's so many situations where it's like you could like block off a thing and things are just going to attack you. And if she gets, it's like getting 2 attacks a turn in a lot of ways. I don't know the potency on this. It might be weak. I don't know how strong this is. But getting sometimes in some situations 2 attacks a turn could be very huge, especially if an enemy does have like a counter also, which I don't think enemies do. But hypothetically, if an enemy did have a counter, that you would be able to probably counter them, deal damage to them without them dealing damage to you. I personally love this. I don't know how good it is, but I think this is why I'm going to take Bianca myself. But also, she's got something else that I really love. And that's some big ol' ability numbers. Let's take a look here. Oomph. Greatly raises one ally's attack for 3 turns. This is probably better than... It's tough. It's tough to say if this is going to be better than Party Animal Giuliante's AoE attack buff. The AoE attack buff is obviously everybody, but this is 2 stages in 1 turn. So it only takes 2 turns to get someone to max, whereas Giuliante takes 3 turns to get one person to max. And so it's hard to say which one's better. I personally like Oomph a bit more because typically I'm only using this once anyway. So I'm only trying to get 1 character up anyway, so I personally like Oomph a bit more. But, you know, and if you have Emperor Slime, it's actually 1 Oomph and a cheer gets you there in 1 turn as well. So that's pretty good. Or if you're just using Ragnar or something, she could Oomph Ragnar and Ragnar War Bellows and he's done. So I like Oomph a lot. I think it's very good. So, Whip Crackle. Deals 240% potency zap type physical damage to all enemies in area of effect. Very rarely binds. Not blinds, binds. Binds is not very good, but it's like, okay. You know, it makes it so an enemy can't move forward. It could totally be good in very specific fights. Something only has melee attacks, and suddenly could be as good as a paralysis in some situations. Mostly, though, it is physical zap damage at 240 potency at a range of 2. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good, I think. No doubt. It's slightly worse than the Deborah, whatever, like the AoE thing, but it's at a range 2. So I think that has some more potential in it. You don't need to get as close. Also, and like she has slightly less HP and stuff, but all of her attacks are ranged. So she's like a ranged attacker, which is very cool. Rain of Thunder deals 94%. Let's not spoil that coup de grace. That's like another thing I fucking love about her. Deals 94% potency zap type physical damage to one enemy 3 times. So this is very similar to Hard Claw, except a few very key important differences, right? You're getting Rain of Thunder potency. You're actually getting potency on both her coup de grace and this. So you're getting potency on this over Hard Claw. It is elemental, so it's going to be extra good in things that, you know, it's good against. And it benefits from her own perk, and it's at a range 1 or 2. So this is just straight up better than Hard Claw. It's similar to Hard Claw, but obviously just straight up better in basically every way, unless they're resistant to zap, in which case, why are you using this anyway? You should be using probably a different character if something is resistant to zap. But very, very good ability. Definitely great damage. Like, Hard Claw, I was very impressed with, and this is just a better Hard Claw. All right, and so now the final, the coup de grace. I love this ability. This deals 420%. This is rank 1, by the way. Rank 1, apparently it's rank 1. 420% potency physical damage to riddle units. This means this thing is gonna fuck up EX fights, man. Or in, like, maybe not arena. It takes 3 turns, so this is not usable till turn 4. But it does extra damage to boss-type units. What? And even if it doesn't, it does 350% potency to those. That's crazy. That's so much. It's single target damage. It's not like this big AoE thing that's going to kill everything. But having a really, really, really powerful attack that targets specifically boss monsters and banner monsters, I don't know. I like that. I don't know how practical it is. I think in future EX fights, this could be ridiculous to do insane amounts of damage, especially because, like, she could oomphle herself and deal good damage. And then just, like, this might get up to, like, 700% at level 10. Maybe not that high, but like something ridiculous. Seems very powerful. I love this ability. This is probably why I'm taking her, combined with that really cool passive. I also like Oomphle, and outside of that, her other 2 abilities both seem really good. So I think this is a potential really good EX fight killer, but I still think this is less general use than Nora. So let's take a look at Nora here really quick, and I'll speed this up. So Nora at max is low attack, not low HP, but kind of low HP, honestly, for level 110. But 382 wisdom. What the fuck? That's crazy. So what's her passives here? Increase bang type spell potency 20%. Excuse me, Baramos found his wife, everybody. I wish it was bang type potency 20%, because that way Sorrow would be broken more so. But still, insanely good. Turn 3 and 5 action start rarely restores MP. I don't know what that means. I don't like on turn 3 and 5 only she sometimes gains HP, or is it only on turns 3 and 5 she's guaranteed to restore MP? I don't know, but this is basically what I'm thinking. I'm thinking on 3 and 5 she recovers MP. That's way less exciting than some of the other ones, but I just want to see if there's anything else here. But she's absolutely insane abilities, right? More heal. This is a more powerful mid heal. So, and she's got 380, like, fucking, mana, right? Or sorry, 380 wisdom. So the thing about more heal is that, so okay, Stone Golem is so good because his defense is so high, but also because he doesn't have an insanely high HP pool, honestly, because it makes mid heal able to heal him up to full pretty much all the time, or at least a like an Emperor Slime multi heal. This means you could use like a really, really high HP tank and still heal them up to full every turn. I don't know the numbers on this, but it's got to be massive, right? That's just the only possible way. So this is a very, very good healing ability, likely the best healing ability in the game currently. Multi-heal might be better depending on the situation, but this is, if it's not multi-heal, then this will be the best healing ability in the game. So obviously, that alone is pretty insane. And the MP cost isn't too bad, and she has built-in MP recovery. Anyway, her MP costs are fucking high, though. Holy shit. But at the same time, it will get a lot lower. I mean, she could use this more heal like 10 times plus. And this is at level 1. The MP cost goes down each time you level it up. So I don't know where the MP cost ends up. But Soothing Storm deals major whoosh type. So this is Kaswoosh. This is just Kaswoosh on her. And puts all enemies in area effect to sleep very rarely. So I think that's like a 20-ish, 25-ish% chance to put enemies to sleep, which is pretty good. This is just a better Kaswoosh, and Kaswoosh is the best whoosh type damage in the game. So she is better than the best unit in the game right now for, what the fuck, White Knight? I mean, White Knight gets potency on it. I'm pretty sure she doesn't get potency on it. But it is Kaswoosh that puts enemies to sleep sometimes. That's pretty insane. And you know what's better than one Kaswoosh on a team? If you have White Knight, having 2 Kaswooshes. If something's weak against whoosh, you're going to want this bad. You're going to want 2 Kaswooshes, not just the one, because it's not like a redundant effect. Because right now we're using swoosh users in a lot of these EX fights, you know, to do, or like the wind slash attack, you know. This is just, and she has insane wisdom. And of course she pairs nicely with White King because he boosts all their stuff. And so not only is she great in a wind-based team, she's insanely good in a bang-based team, because remember, her bang potency is increased by 20%. This isn't even her signature. This is just a great ability. Deals moderate bang type, so next ability, Magic Barrage, deals a moderate bang type spell damage to random enemies and area of effect 4 times. So moderate is a bad word here, but this means likely this is going to be boom. Boom is the medium one, so it's gonna be like Mucifer times 4. So it's gonna be really good. This is gonna do great single target damage because it's gonna hit one enemy 4 times. So this is gonna be 4 times stronger than Mucifer, and it's gonna be even stronger than 4 times stronger on Mucifer because they're getting an extra. Well, maybe not. I bet Mucifer gets the 10% potency on it. But she's getting a bunch of potency on it, and she gets a passive 20% on it as well if she's the leader for her own thing. So this is an attack that reading it, I'm not that impressed with. I need to see how much damage it actually does, but doing 4 times stronger than Mucifer, I mean, it means this could do 1200 damage, something like that, right? It could actually do more. This could do closer to 1400 damage on single targets if they're weak to bang and stuff. So this definitely has insane potential. So between being able to put enemies to sleep, between being able to heal your tank, between being able to do insane damage, she's phenomenal. She's going to be good in almost every content, any kind of piece of content you can imagine, which is why I recommend taking her over everyone else, even if I might not take her personally. And then finally, her coup de grace, Big Banga, deals major bang type damage to all enemies in area of effect. This isn't usable to turn 5, and it costs 137 MP. So the cool thing is, with their perk here, you're likely going to restore MP on the turn that this is available. So you don't need to be super careful with your MP, probably, because she has a bunch of it built in. We don't know the potency on this. I assume that this is going to be like a Necro Boom or whatever, you know, whatever the A rank boom is. And it hits all enemies in a 3x3 square at a range of 3. I don't love this. This is probably my least favorite of the coup de grace, but there's no doubt this is just going to be very powerful. I think her coup de grace is probably the least exciting thing about her kit, but I do think she is probably the best overall for generic purposes. I may not take her just because I don't know. It's so tough. I'm going to wait to see which waifu I pull from normal stuff, or if I do the paid banners and things like that, see which ones I get, because I'm going to use the ring to get dupes, because I want dupes if I can, right? Like I want to get one of them up to like 4-star or whatever. And you know, I'll use tact points. I'll use some tact points. I do want to save my tact points for the banner coming up next week. There's a big old banner coming up next week that I'm very excited for a new S unit. But overall, guys, sorry, I spoiled it early in the video, but I kind of wanted to give you a rundown of each character really quickly. And this is 20 minutes long, so it's not really quickly. I will do a unit review specifically for each of these units. Why am I going to do that? Because I need more content. Anyway, I do recommend Nora for everybody. Pick your first. I recommend picking your favorite first if you're, you know, a person that just plays because you like the units that you like. If you want to clear the most amount of content, with the, you know, Nora, I think has the most uses. I think Bianca is potentially insanely strong, but it might be kind of risky. I don't know how good that passive is, but I love her coup de grace. I love her kit in general. And also my Royal Reptile isn't that strong, so she's going to be a better Royal Reptile than Royal Reptile. And Deborah, I recommend if you have more of a niche hole in your team where you really need some physical damage. And then you could really enjoy her coup de grace. It's going to be fun. None of them are bad. All of them are a good choice. All of them are a right choice if it fits your team. I just think Nora will be the most practical to most people. Anyway, guys, Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I will see you next time. See you guys around.